We just landed in Paris on Air France, and now it's time for us to give you guys our honest review of the Park Hyatt Paris Vendome, a luxury 5-star hotel. This is honestly one of the craziest reviews we've ever done because we actually witnessed a robbery at the Bulgari store right down the street when we were leaving the hotel. And not just any robbery, the robbers literally stole millions of dollars worth of jewelry. But we'll get more into that in a little bit, so let's go. We visited the hotel at the end of April, which is considered more of their peak season, so it did cost 45,000 Hyatt points per night, which is not the best deal. However, I wanted to go to this hotel because it's supposed to be one of Hyatt's best properties. I'm a big fan of Hyatt in the States. Their loyalty program is really good. You get things like free nights, room upgrades, including suites, depending on what tier you are, early check-in, late check-out, and complimentary bottle of water. The hotel starts at around $1,600 per night. However, we did use those points, so we were able to save a lot of money if you calculate it points to dollar-wise. The hotel itself blends into the historic surrounding and is just a few steps away from Place Vendome. Place Vendome is one of the city's most famous and beautiful squares. It's completely surrounded by some of the most famous high-end stores like Cartier, Van Cleef & Arpels, Bulgari, and the likes. Paris isn't known for having massive resorts. A lot of the hotels here are more intimate and more like boutique-y. The minute you step inside, you feel very sophisticated. There's beautiful pillars that are kind of this cream color, different textured walls, porcelain floors, pastel kind of carpets, and a mixture of hardwood floors. There's also these kind of weird figural bronze sculptures that you'll see throughout the entire hotel. They're like men in different forms, kind of stretching out. Kind of weird, but kind of cool. A lot of these hotels and resorts have these kind of signature figures that they have throughout. It's not necessarily my thing, but it's cool. You have Cafe Jean to the left, which is a beautiful space that has an open sunlit ceiling. Then there's a seating area, an outdoor courtyard, and in the back they have their signature restaurant. Per, which is a Michelin star restaurant, is a creative approach to French gastronomy. It's a very elegant restaurant with an open kitchen. It's completely extra, but you know I always do the tasting menu to see what they can do. Anyway, we finally made our way to our room, which was on the second floor. We did get upgraded from a basic room to this kind of, I guess, a slightly bigger room. It did have a view of the courtyard. We couldn't figure out exactly how to open the window because they have this like storm shutter on there, but there is a window in the room and it does open up into the courtyard. Generally, when you're a globalist, they do upgrade you to a suite. However, I guess they didn't have any available or they just didn't like me when I checked in. But anyway, this is our room. The room did have very high ceilings, which was nice, and even the doors were like double-sized doors. But a mix of dark woods, gold accents, and like I said before, these kind of weird bronze figures throughout the entire room. But the bathroom was super nice. It was cool how they incorporated the shower as like a step up right into the bathtub. You actually have everything you need in there. You have a sink, you have a mirror, and a little place to sit down. The bathroom was really like luxurious, sophisticated, but also comfortable. You had a fully stocked coffee and tea station, which was nice. I mean, you are in Paris, so you do expect tea and obviously coffee. The welcome amenity was also really nice. They gave you a bottle of wine, which was surprisingly good for a free bottle of wine, a welcome letter, some fresh oranges, and also some very delicious macaroons that were very fresh. I'm not gonna lie, generally I would have preferred having a street view, but the view of the courtyard at night was really beautiful. We just arrived on a 13-hour flight from Singapore, so it's time to get some sleep. The breakfast buffet is located in Cafe Jean. Luckily, we booked an award night, so our breakfast is included because it's 54 euros, which is absolutely crazy, I think, for any type of breakfast buffet at least. There's a beautiful glass ceiling, so there's a lot of natural light, and gorgeous orchids spread throughout the entire restaurant. The service was really good. They were definitely on top of their stuff with water and coffee and juices and eggs. However, the buffet itself was just a little fussy for me. It was kind of like you had to pick and choose, and like it wasn't a complete meal. I think they wanted you to order like, you know, eggs Benedict or scrambled eggs or an omelet, but I kind of just like a real hearty breakfast or a variety of options. The crowd itself too was a little like uppity for me, especially at breakfast time. I kind of just want to like be comfortable and, you know, have a cup of coffee, enjoy the buffet. It was just, like I said earlier, it was just fussy-wussy. There isn't a pool at the hotel, but they do have a very nice, well-equipped gym and event spaces. What's nice is the hotel is just a short walk to one of the largest museums in the world, the Louvre. So we spent a few hours there and then we headed back to the hotel for our dinner reservations. We were the first people to arrive for dinner service and we decided that we were going to do the 6-course tasting menu. We started off with their signature gin cocktails and a gin martini, and then they gave us 3 special appetizers. The appetizers were something. They were very impactful, and I think their purpose was to kind of cleanse your palate and get you ready for the culinary experience. One was a cream with sardine sauce. It was like a journey, very impactful, and the beets, I think even if you like beets, this would have been a lot for you. We both, however, could have just ate bread for the entire dinner. It was this delicious sweet onion bread with salted butter from the south of France. 10 out of 10. Henrietta, who's like the HBIC of the restaurant, she was the one kind of controlling everything and making sure that you were getting your courses on time, describing what you're eating, and keeping all of the servers on track. She was the bomb. One of our courses was the Gambero Rosso tacos. It had passion fruit and mango and a coral ice cream, which was just basically fish flavored ice cream, which was not that appealing or tasty, but it was a part of the experience. And it was like a specialty shrimp. It was very soft and tender. It was really, really good. After stomaching the ice cream, we moved on to the white asparagus and crystal caviar with the mint and lemon jelly, tonado, and it had like a custard on the bottom mixed with vegetables. This was definitely one of my favorite dishes of the entire tasting menu. It was level but not too overpowering, and it kind of took you on a little bit of a journey as you kind of made it to the bottom of the dish. We don't eat veal, which is one of the options on the tasting menu, so Brad had the cod, which is marinated in miso with a grapefruit jelly and crunchy vegetables, and I had the Jap Wagyu beef, which was smoked with grapevine shoots, grilled January king cabbage, and green salsa sauce. Both of our entrees were delicious. Then we had the selection of ripened cheese and dessert. They were very thoughtful with each dish. The actual plates themselves some of them were kind of boulders, and then you had rocks and slices of wood. A lot of different textures just on the plates alone. And then we finished the dinner off with milk and cookies. It was a really unique thing. They actually deconstructed the milk and you actually had a slice of frozen milk on top of it. It was wild. Overall, dinner was a great experience. I mean, it really should be at 220 euros a person, but it was fun. We went to bed, got a late checkout, and now it's time for the craziest part of this trip. The massive Bulgari robbery that we witnessed right down the street.
3 armed robbers in sharp suits struck a Bulgari store in Paris on Tuesday. They held up employees and customers with large guns, but police said the scale and risk of the heist was unusual.
After spending a few hours shopping around Place Vendome for gifts, we came back to the hotel and requested a taxi at 1:45 to take us to the airport. We quickly packed everything up and we're getting ready to go. And as we're leaving the elevator into the lobby, we see people running in and screaming. There's children, there's people just running in from off of the street. The staff at the hotel were trying to just make sure everyone was safe and to stay inside of the hotel, but Brad wandered out just to kind of gauge the scene and see what's going on. And he witnessed 2 guys on motorcycles with machine guns who apparently ran into Bulgari and stole millions of dollars worth of jewelry. A few minutes later, we were rushed into our taxi and off to the airport. But, of course, it couldn't go that easy. On the way to the airport, of course, the taxi got hit by a trailer and we had to pull over to the side. At this point, we're like, are we in on the scheme? Like, what's going on? If the Paris police call me, I had nothing to do with the Bulgari robbery, but this was just kind of really, really weird. And of course, in the midst of all the chaos, I forgot to take a very expensive Hermes cologne that I had bought the day before out of my carry-on bag, and I didn't have time to check it in, so I had to literally throw it in the trash. You're welcome, any airport employee who decided to find it. Alright guys, it's now time for our honest review of the Park Hyatt Paris Vendome. The lobby and the entrance was very elegant. It was moody with the large pillars and the cream and textures throughout. We're going to give it a 7.5. The hotel and the staff were very chic. The overall hotel wasn't anything special, but it also wasn't gaudy. I'm going to give it a 7. No complaints at all with the service and the concierge. We're going to give them a 9. I wasn't a big fan of the buffet, and with the 54 euro price tag, it just wasn't sitting right with me. I'm giving the food a 7.5. I loved the bathroom in the room. The bed was very comfortable. The room had everything you needed. It had a great view of the courtyard. The welcome amenity and free bottle of wine was good, and the tall ceilings were nice. 7.5. The tasting menu was an experience to say the least. A lot of the dishes were superb. Some of them were funky and kind of on the edge, but we're gonna give it a 7.5. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you're into unique and luxury travel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like.